Hello, welcome to Laytechs Weekly, episode 4th August 2021. Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs, your protection from tech ignorance. My name is Sean. This week's news, Google drops Pixel 6 preview. This year is going to be a big year for the Pixel 6 devices. Not only are they departing with their cute and cuddly designs for a more grown-up and futuristic one, it will also come with its very own ARM chip. Yes, Google has its own chip. Google's chip is called the Tensor SoC, Tensor, not Tensor. Named after the Tensor Processing Unit, TPU, Google uses in its data centers. Why is this important? Because you get support length, you get software optimization, and battery life. Traditionally, the length of a Pixel's device's software optimization is limited to Qualcomm's willingness to keep supporting it. Of course, Qualcomm being a business, they want to sell more devices, so they don't extend support for phones typically over 3 years. But with Google's own chip, they can keep supporting their devices forever if they choose to. They won't, but they could. With control over the chip, Google's version of Android will most likely be more efficient and have better battery life than before as well. There will be two models, the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. This time, Google is competing with top-notch flagships like the iPhone 12 Pro and the Samsung S21. This also means it will be as expensive, so it's no longer Pixel 5 price. It will be north of 4,000 ringgit. The smaller model will come with two cameras, and the larger get a third telephoto lens. Google also said that they will finally bring out a completely new camera sensor, which they hope will help them regain the throne as the king of phone cameras. With chips as cheap as they will ever be, phone makers now know it is time to build their own chips to better differentiate their hardware from others. Because this is true, well, actually for Android, because Android devices had to rely on Qualcomm, which tries to create as generic chips as possible, like the Snapdragon 888, which essentially limits the ability for these phone makers to differentiate their hardware. But if they keep making their own chips now, if they continue to build their own chips, then they get to better differentiate their devices. So that said, Apple has been making their own chips since the beginning of time. Beginning of the iPhone. And then Samsung has their own Exynos chips. Huawei has their own Kirin chips, and so on as well. So now Google is also coming into this and making their own chips, which is good. Google Pixel 6 drops sometime as early as October this year and will most likely not be available in any official stores in Malaysia. But if you're a fan, you will know where to get them. College textbooks finally goes subscription model. Wow. One of the most painful ways to go through college is needing to have the latest edition textbooks that you can't sell at the end of the school year because there always is conveniently a newer edition that will come out the next year. Pearson, a popular college textbook publisher, has finally introduced a subscription service for digital textbooks. At $10 a month, students have access to one textbook at a time, or $15 a month will open up access to all 15,000 ebooks in the library. This includes flashcards, annotations, and customizable fonts. Pearson Plus, which is the name of the subscription, will be available in the US later this year and will be rolled out worldwide soon. While some may argue that buying a secondhand book or buying a book that will allow you to resell is always better, textbooks publishers, in my experience, textbook publishers always update their content all the time in order to keep selling new copies. And exams will conveniently also contain these special information that is only available in the latest copies. So since you've already paid so much for your fees, right, you wouldn't want to risk it by buying outdated book as well. So most of the times people will end up buying new books. And when you want to sell it, conveniently, there is a new edition. You can't sell it because nobody wants to buy the older edition. So at the end of the day, you have a textbook that you never use lying somewhere in your library or at home. You can't sell it to someone else. So it is actually still better to get a digital copy that you pay on a monthly basis and just let it go once it's done. But I do hope that it's cheaper though, because $15 a month is quite expensive in ringgit Malaysia. You might as well just buy your own book. You can at least use it as a door stopper at the end of your term. Spotify introduces mini subscriptions on top of the standard personal and family monthly subscriptions. Spotify is also bringing a shorter model for bite-sized usage. It's called Spotify Mini, and you can either take it daily at 1 ringgit a day or weekly at 3 ringgit 90 cents a week. Spotify says the mini subscription will allow access to all premium features, except song downloads will be limited to 30 songs only. And once the subscription ends, you lose all those downloads, which essentially also works for all the premium as well. People who listen to a lot of music should still go for the premium at 15 ringgit a month because it is way cheaper if you divide 15 by 30 days. But the mini is for people who need it only occasionally and they don't want to pay for the rest of the months when they don't need the subscriptions. Binance banned in Malaysia. Cryptocurrency exchange was asked. The cryptocurrency exchange Binance was asked to stop operating in Malaysia by the Securities Commission (SC) because it was not officially registered as a recognized market operator (RMO), as is in violation of sections 7 bracket 10 and 34 bracket 1 of the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007. Effective 9th of August 2021, Binance will need to completely stop all business operations in Malaysia. The company has also been ordered to stop all marketing, including any publications, circulations, and advertisements online and offline, effective immediately. For those people trading in Binance, they can easily move to the 3 approved DAX in Malaysia, which are Luno, Synergy, and Tokenize. I'm on Luno, so it works. It's good. Facebook wants to read our encrypted messages. Facebook, Google, and Microsoft are working on ways to analyze the content of encrypted data without having to decrypt them. It's called homomorphic encryption, and it employs a mathematical system to let these companies access encrypted data while keeping them safe from cybersecurity dangers and maintaining privacy. Okay, I have a problem with this because essentially, these companies are creating a skeleton key to have access to all our private messages and data. They say that this data will not be hacked. But when top 3 companies can create a key into our encrypted data at the same time without referring to each other's, methods of doing it, who's to say others can't eventually do so as well? So it comes down to this, right? However you slice this news, however you look at this, at the end of the day, having special access to our encrypted message will make it less secure, definitely. And it defeats the purpose of encrypting them in the first place. Imagine if you have a lock at home and the police will have the skeleton key to open all these locks. Who's to say the police is not corrupt, right? Who's to say that they may not misplace this key and it falls into the wrong hands and the wrong people will come and rob you with this key? So there is always problem with allowing certain people access to some form of security. It makes it less secure. It creates a crack. And in that crack, therein lies the problem. So I'm very against this. I understand why they do it because they want access to our data because these guys sell ads. And in order for them to sell a more hyper-targeted ads, they need access to our messages. And yeah, but this is where it is. If I have to pay for something, I don't want people coming in and getting all my data. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you decide to let them give them your data in exchange for free services or pay for premium services. That is all for Laytechs Weekly. Laytechs Weekly is available on Anchor FM, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and I post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. If you like Laytechs Weekly, it would really help if you could rate and review it on the podcast video of your choice and on YouTube, so more can discover it. Laytechs Weekly is looking for a regular co-host to bring more depth to the show. If you're interested, simply drop me an email at SeanBQT, that is Sean, SHAWN, B for Bangkok, Q for Queensland, T for Thailand at hotmail.com. That is all for Laytechs Weekly, episode 4th August 2021. My name is Sean. See you next week. Stay safe. Au revoir.